I just want to thank also a very, very special person tonight, Chris Reeve. I miss you. And I also say, may flights of angels sing thee to thy rest, sweet prince. Good night.
Friends Like Brothers is an emotion synonymous with the bond between late actors Christopher Reeves and Robin Williams that lasted for decades. The duo who made a pact that whoever first broke through as an actor would support the other, manifested in ways that the world still remembers. The duo's meeting seemed to be destined, with Christopher studying theater at Cornell University before being selected from a sea of applicants for the elite acting program at Juilliard. Robin, too, had dropped out of college to pursue acting at California's College of Marine, after which he won a scholarship to Juilliard. The two eventually became roommates. Christopher has often talked about his first impression of Robin, describing him as a colorful personality who wore tie-dyed shirts with tracksuit bottoms and talked a mile a minute. I'd never seen so much energy contained in one person. Still Me. A detailed autobiography by Christopher also describes how there was never a dull moment whenever his friend was around, who kept making funny voices, imitating teachers, and making his classmates laugh with his hysterical antics. His name, of course, was Robin Williams, Christopher wrote. It was time for the pact to come into play as Christopher landed his first big break as Superman in 1978, while Robin still had a long way to go before making his way up from stand-up comedy to roles in the television industry.
I wore a big, bulky blue sweater because I thought, oh my God, I've got to look stronger, you know, and I knew I was skinny. I'd been sitting around, hadn't been exercising. I mean, I get out and play tennis and stuff, but I don't in any way do body stuff. So I got the biggest Shetland sweater I could find up in my attic and went to this audition with it and sat there sort of trying to look bigger, you know, and everything like that.
For Superman's role, the actor increased his weight by 30 pounds and added 4 inches to his chest and 3 inches to his biceps during his training, giving him a buffed look and triangular look.
He's got the kind of maturity, or he's got the innocence, really, to look at the world very, very simply. And that's what makes him so different. When he says, I'm here to fight for truth, justice, and the American way, everybody goes, you know, but
After discovering the love of horse riding and competing at equestrian events in the 1980s, Christopher decided to train and compete in horse events regularly while filming Village of the Damned in 1994. On May 27, 1995, he was thrown from his horse, Buck, who put the brakes on for unknown reasons during an equestrian competition in Culpeper, Virginia. The impact of the landing broke his first and second vertebrae, causing a hangman's injury.
Well, I totally decimated my first cervical vertebrae and my second, so my body and my spine and my head were not connected. Only my neck muscles were holding my head on, and fortunately I didn't suffer any brain damage, at least none that I could detect. But
After learning about the accident, Robin was the first person to show up in Virginia and was by his friend's side, tending to his medical needs. On one occasion, Robin pretended to be a Russian proctologist during a surprise visit, wearing a glove and saying, "If you don't mind, I'm going to have to put on a rubber glove and examine your internal organs. Oh, look at the size of this baby." Christopher even wrote fondly about this incident, stating, "For the first time since the accident, I laughed. My old friend had helped me know that somehow I was going to be okay." He also described that moment as being so hilarious that he could fall off his chair, thanks to the belt that strapped him on. Describing the incident as a relief in his toughest times, he felt one could still feel genuine laughter and joy. Superman, the Christopher Reeve Story, a 2024 documentary featured at the Sundance Film Festival, explores the aftermath of Christopher's accident and his journey as an activist for disability rights. Christopher became a vocal advocate for this research field. In stem cells, he saw a powerful tool being hampered by US policy, a tool that promised potential therapies, not just to heal himself, but to treat a host of medical conditions in others. Christopher, who campaigned in Congress, brought the stem cell debate to the public. He was the human voice that changed attitudes, says Colin Blakemore, chief executive of the UK's Medical Research Council. It's one thing for scientists to say, "We know we can do this," But Christopher Reeve put all this into real-life perspective. He set up the Christopher Reeve Paralysis Foundation to fund some of the best research into therapies for paralysis. But the $15 million a year the foundation dedicated to research was just a fraction of what the U.S. National Institutes of Health could have paid for. For years, it had been speculated that Robin wrote a check for $2.7 million to pay Christopher's medical bills, the claims of which were denied by both of them. However, Roby admitted in 1999 that he did help Christopher out to some degree. He and his second wife, Marcia, bought the Reeve family a special retrofitted van to get Christopher to an appearance at the Academy Awards 10 months after the accident. Robin also joined the board of Reeve's foundation and became an advocate himself for people with disabilities. American actress Glenn Close made a defining statement about the most special bond shared between the two actors. "I always felt that if Chris was still around, Robin would still be alive," says Glenn in the film. She recalled how Christopher would literally swoop in, piloting his own plane, scoop Robin up, and fly away for the weekend, dating back to the summer incident while she and Robin filmed Garp. On late Sunday afternoons, Christopher would swoop back in and drop Robin rightfully on the film sets. Glenn also felt Christopher and Robin were on top of the world throughout their decades-long friendship. They were living the kind of fast and crazy life that our business can hand to you if you become a wildly famous phenomenon, practically overnight, said Glenn. At Christopher's funeral in 2004, which followed after he suffered from a massive cardiac arrest, Robin called Christopher his brother and said that he had been a steady rock for him while he was in chaos. The film also features intimate interviews with Christopher's 3 children, Matthew, Alexandra, and Will, who serve on the board of directors for the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. A decade later, Robin, who had coped with mental health struggles throughout his prolific screen career, died by suicide at the age of 63 in 2014.
There's a voice, and it's a little quiet voice that goes, jump. It's the same voice. The same voice goes, just one. There's a voice that goes, jump. And the idea of just one. And for someone who has no tolerance for it, that's not a possibility.
It wasn't until after his death that an autopsy revealed advanced stages of Lewy body dementia, a less common form of dementia, that affects an estimated 1.4 million people in the U.S. In the 2018 biography, Robin, Vanity Fair observed that in the months that preceded his death, the comedian faced daunting challenges, both professionally and personally. His film career had stalled, and his comeback sitcom, The Crazy Ones, was failing to find an audience on CBS. He was still harboring guilt about his divorce from Marcia Garces, his second wife and mother of 2 of his children, and adjusting to life with his new wife, Susan Schneider, wrote the publication. His eventual suicide sent shockwaves around the world, also reiterating the thought that Glenn thinks the actor would still be alive had Christopher been alive. The comedian dedicated his 2005 Cecil B. DeMille Award at the Golden Globes to his friend Christopher, who once said Robin was a gift to the world. The pair and their friendship redefined the meaning of life for each other, making the world a sweeter place to live in. Do you think the pair's sustained efforts to uplift each other until the very end kept their friendship rock solid? Let us know in the comments down below.